YouTube, it's Tele Tuesday again. Well, sorry, it's Monday night, so Tele Tuesday again, which I stole from some Facebook page that had Tele Tuesday. So this week it's my Eastwood monolith. But before I get to that, I was thinking last week I did my tele bass 6-string. So it's like, I suppose the age-old question: when is it a Telecaster? When is it not a Telecaster? So this here is not mine. So the reason I'm doing this now is because I'm going to be giving this back soon. So this is a Telecaster. It doesn't actually say Telecaster on the head, it says tele. So I think you could pretty much argue that this is your standard tele. No, even then maybe not. So it's got 2 single coil pickups. This sort of, people call it a lipstick one even though it's not. In the neck, single coil, and the bridge pickup bolted onto the neck plate, the bridge plate. This one has a 6-saddle bridge and is top loaded, and it's got the wrong knobs and the wrong switch tip on it. But this, I think you could pretty much argue, is a Telecaster. I don't think anyone would say that this is not a Telecaster, unless you were being really, really, really pernickety and saying, well, it's not a Fender, even though it's by Fender, it's actually a Squire, so you could say it's a copy. Yeah, so this is a Telecaster, right? This has other Telecaster traits. This one actually has the ashtray bridge, which has got the edge on it, and the 3 saddles, which you could also argue is more Telecaster than what's on the Telecaster. It's also through strung. Not that I think that really makes any difference. I do like the idea of the strings going through the body. It makes you think, oh, it means the vibrations go through the body, but I don't think it makes any difference. I just like the idea of it. Got the metal plate, single coil neck, and it's Telecaster shape. I didn't really call this a Telecaster, I called it a tele bass, because obviously it's a 6-string bass. So the lines are starting to blur a little bit, so is this still a Telecaster? I don't know. Anyway, off of those two, and we're now on to this one. So is this one a Telecaster? It's Telecaster shaped, it's got the metal plate, but instead of, it's got a wraparound tailpiece, which is interesting. It's also only got 1 pickup, so technically you could argue, I think, that this is it's an Esquire as opposed to being a Telecaster. Even though it's actually called an Eastwood monolith. This is I think it's through neck. I did look up the specs before for this a while ago. If you look this up, pretty much the other things you see videos of me having done this. The last one I did was like a year and a half ago, so I'm just redoing it. I'm going to have to recycle some of the videos for doing the Tele Tuesday thing, because I've done videos for most of them. So this one actually, with my super new technology, which thanks to my pal Dava, who gave me a PC, I've now got another computer here, so I can read out shit. So this came out in 2009. Guitar will be unveiled in 2009. The monolith is not just the biggest pickup on the planet, it's a completely new concept in pickup and sound design. I've looked at this before, it's not the biggest pickup on the planet, the one in the EBO is bigger. So it's not, but completely new. The monolith is actually 3 totally different sounds, not available in any other pickup. Yeah. All packed into one seriously oversized shell. The 3 sounds are jackhammer, which is a humbucker on steroids, cement mixer, which is a deep dirty sludge tone, and ice pick, a P90 on steroids. So the 2 of the sounds are on steroids. Yeah, that cuts through the thickest mix. The result is one of the guitar that takes the place of 3 guitars. Yeah, these Eastwood monolith guitars are designed to become collectors. All 48 guitars feature the made in the USA Rebel Sonic monolith pickup. Yeah, something special. Yeah, so there's apparently only 48 of these ever made. And if you look up, when I did the initial video of this, I looked it up, and it's still the same 2 expired reverb adverts and that page there, and videos of me playing it. That's kind of all that seems to exist. So it's possible there are only 48 of these in the world. This one's had some mods. The previous owner had sanded off the black paint on the headstock, so it's now got a natural headstock, but they didn't sand off the paint around the logo, so that's still the original logo, but it shouldn't have the black surround on it. The whole headstock should be black. It's got a maple fretboard, and it's got a painted black neck. I kind of like, that's one of the things that I like a lot about this guitar. The fact it's got a maple fretboard and a painted neck. It doesn't seem obvious. I have seen a thing that said that this was it was a set neck, but to me it looks like a through neck and feels like a through neck. The same spec sheet, which I couldn't find there incidentally, said that it had a rosewood fingerboard, and that ain't rosewood, so it's obviously not 100% correct, that spec sheet that I read. Mine originally had a painted matte black scratch plate on it, but the original one was a sort of cream colour. You won't be able to see it in there. It didn't look particularly brilliant. This one I put on a mother of toilet seat one, which you can't see because of the lighting in here just now. But it's a sort of modern Chinese one, so it's not a pure garish mother of pearl. It's just slightly spangly. I did this to match actually a guitar which I've now sold when I ran out of money. One of the first Chinese Telecasters I bought. I figured when I was selling things I could buy another one because they still sell it in the same factory, so I could just buy another one the same if I really wanted to. So this one, I will have less teles than I think I do when I do this run, however long it lasts for. Yeah, so Esquire pickup thing, mate, and then you get a 3-way switch. And that's really it. Binding on the top. Kind of looks very much like the very original Fender Esquires. I think that I'm pretty sure there was one that was sort of this shape. I suppose it's sort of tobacco bursts. The one in that picture there looks like a redder burst than this one. One of the other 47 other ones. So this is Ice Pick. Yeah, so I think that in below this pickup cover, which is it's actually sealed when you looked in the back, so I looked in to see what it was. So it's like a sealed unit with wires coming out it. But I reckon what we've got here is a P90 and a single coil that's the reverse winds, and if you put them into different orders. So that was that's just the P90 on its own. Then the middle one, which is a cement mixer. I reckon what that is it's either the two of them in parallel with some sort of tone cap added on it. The two of them being the two pickups that I reckon is in below this cover. It's almost like a neck pickup sound. And then the neck is jackhammer, which is a humbucker on steroids. So I reckon what that is a humbucker, and just a humbucker without that tone cap in the middle. What I'll do is I'm going to see if it's I'm cancelling. I'll stick the fuzz pedal on, get some noise coming through. Yeah, so I reckon that is single coil in the ice pick position, and then that's some sort of hum cancelling position, as is that one. Using the Boss OD1, no, it's not an OD1, it's a OS2, which is sort of like an old, apart from, got one of the letters right, particular sound. And the other day, I don't know if you've ever seen it, you should YouTube Limmy's show, Tina Turner, Nutbush City Limits. It's a Scottish comedian, Limmy, doing a sort of maybe 2-minute sketch on where there's like 9 of them dressed up as Tina Turner doing the Nutbush City Limits dance, which is sort of like this, with a sort of he's really good at doing the dance with a wig on, kind of. So I've been singing that song. I love Nutbush City Limits is amazing. I saw Tina Turner years ago supporting John Fogerty, who was playing Hampden. Nope. John Fogerty was supporting Tina Turner, so we went to see John Fogerty, all got completely hammered and had no plans on staying for Tina, thinking Tina Turner, she's not very good. And then we ended up sort of gradually working our way out, but staying for quite a lot of Tina's set, and honestly it was amazing. The songs, there's so many songs you go, oh, that one's amazing as well. You know, she played This is like, we're talking. I think it was 2000, so it was 20 years ago. But you know, like the 10 songs that we stayed for, or whatever, it was just hit, 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 and it was absolutely super rocking. And as you played the Acid Queen and Nutbush City Limits, We Don't Need Another Hero, Simply the Best, and all, I don't know, they were all good. They were all pure rocking. It's like not really what I think Goldeneye, because that was kind of sort of almost a current single at that time. But it really was, because we were just going to leave. We didn't have any carry out order. Me and about 10 of my pals went. We didn't have any Bucky set out, so we wanted to get out so we could buy Bucky on the way home. And ended up staying till the level about 10 to. We were thinking there was a shop just outside Hampden that sold booze, so we were going to. But we were starting sort of gradually working our way up to the back, and it was just. She was brilliant. Yeah, so. fuzzy. Jackhammer, humbucker. Don't use tremolo, I play tremolo and ice pick. Up the distortion a bit. First pedal was already quite loud. Really, my wah-wah. Wow. That's good in the cement mixing sound with the first pedal. There's a speed limit. Motorcycle not allowed in it. We go church on Sundays. Going great on Sundays. We got a nutbush. We got a nutbush. Nutbush city limits. Yeah, so it took me a wee while there to get back into this guitar. I don't know if you noticed there was a point in that where suddenly it started making sense. When I did a video for this like a year ago or something, I was going to sell it, and then I remember this happening, going for this sort of demonstration, and then I started having a wee jam on it, and it was just like, there's no way I can sell this. It's just such a creamy distortion sound. It doesn't really sound that good clean. Well, it's there, but it's like as soon as you stick a bit of the drive on, you can match your press right. It's got a really fast neck on it. That might be something to do with the fact it's painted. A wee bit neck heavy actually. Noticing. Doesn't have the correct headstock for a Telecaster, I suppose. But it's actually quite a good variation in the three sounds you get, considering it's only got one pickup. Kind of be quite happy just with the what I'm calling the bridge position, which is position 3 on the switch. Actually, I saw another thing the other day where they were talking about the way thin it was. I think it was Anderton's again. I keep plugging them. I should stop. But apparently, the way I've decided a couple of weeks ago, I decided I was always going to start counting from the left, so that was going to be position 1. Looking at it, position 2, position 3, but apparently Fender do it the other way around, so position 1 would be the bridge position. But I think I'm just going to break with tradition and keep it as position 1 is what would be the neck pickup, which in this one is, I think, humbucker, basically. I really like this bridge. The wrap over bridge is awesome. It's got like a the intonation sort of shelf, if you like, on the front of it. It's also got wee Allen bolts here, so you can't adjust the individual strings in comparison to each other, but you can adjust the intonation a little bit in and out. It's pretty good, this one. I might have set it up before. These strings are probably 3 years old or something like that, and they're not elixirs because you can see, looking at the ball ends, that they're roto sounds. So it never even got elixirs. That will be getting remedied at some point because this guitar's getting kept. I will be taking this into the studio with a band. I think this is a cool guitar because it's like, hey, it's like pure man playing with one pickup, even though it's not really playing with one pickup. You kind of cheat me because you've got 3 different options. That switch is maybe a little bit wobbly actually. No, it seems clean enough and silent. It's got a wee bit of a sugariness to it. But it's got plenty of spank and twang in any one of the positions, which I do think it does still sound like a Telecaster. Sort of. I was actually watching a thing there, sorry I'm talking on again, but you could have given up by now anyway. I was watching a thing on the Tony Iommi custom monkey guitar thing, which cost £20,000. There's a guy I've been watching at Trogley's. Why am I plugging other? It's because I'm sitting bored just now watching our YouTube channel, so I've been watching Trogley's guitar thing, which I've been sort of cheating. The idea of stealing the idea of weighing the guitars and stuff. The guy's a little bit annoying, but I mean, he deals in guitars that cost £20,000. We was talking about the Badass bridge that's on a Leo Kwan Badass, which should be on the Monkey guitar, and it's not. It's just a sort of copy of one, and it's like, I've actually got one of those Badass bridges in a parts box which I bought for my BC Rich Wave before I put the Wonder Bar on it, and I got it for a tenner. And it's like, so he was complaining that a £20,000 guitar doesn't have this bridge on it. I've got one. It's like that I got for a tenner. So I will be putting that on something at some point. I could put it on this, but I mean the one that's on it's fine. Basically the same thing. The idea of just like, it seems to transfer really well. The vibrations, vibration good. I had the only other guitar I ever really had, which actually didn't. It had a similar characteristic to this, was a shine, which sort of looked. It was a semi-hollow thing. It sort of looked like a PRS copy. I think it was a sort of purple guitar. Shine guitars are actually pretty good. If you see Shine guitars, it was good. I think they were the house brand for Samick. I think was it Samick or something like that. One of the companies, something like your Westone idea, because they're the house brand for Matsumoku. They were the house brand from some other factory, and they were good solid guitars. Maybe not the most interesting looking ones, but they were good. But this thing had this type of bridge, and it had a similar response. Really nice. So I never sold this because I figured I would never be able to get another one, because if it does indeed, I've certainly never seen another one, and there's no indication from when I bought, like a couple of years ago when I looked it up, it said there was like 48 of them, and I've never seen any ones apart from the two Reverb adverts and that one there. So rare, one of 48 only. I might or might not, I don't know if I can be bothered. If I taped off the logo and painted the headstock black again, but I've got a feeling it might just look a bit shit, so I might just leave it. It doesn't really bother me anyway. It's alright. I actually ended up getting this guitar for, I swapped it for a Spear guitar. Actually, I had a guitar called a Spear Tomcat, which had very fancy tops on it, and it was like, I put it up on for sale on Facebook, and they, like no trades, cash only. The guys up here, oh, I've got a guitar, I want to trade. And it's like up here, and it's like, nah. Well, you can always offer me a trade, but it's very unlikely I'm going to take anything. And it was up here, this is a guitar called a Monolith, and it was like, really, it's called a Monolith, is it? What is that all about? And then he showed me a picture of it, and it was like, yeah, okay, fuck it, I'm having that. That's a one pick, an Esquire, and I'm a mad tele freak. This is nice, and it's just different enough to not be a bog standard tele. As you see when I'm going to go through my tele collection over the next few weeks, every Monday night or every Tuesday. My thinking of doing it on a Monday night was it gives me a day to fuck it up, so I can always do it tomorrow, but it'll be Monday in Japan just now, so if there's anybody in Japan, which I doubt, because they won't have a clue what I'm talking about. So this, everyone, I've only got one telly that is this layout, like proper telly layout. I do realise that I've just said that one. I do actually have two, because this one's proper telly layout as well, but it's a 6-string bass, so it doesn't count. Yeah, so Eastwood Monolith, it's cool, it's not for sale. I think it's rocking. I'm just blabbering on. It was like, sorry, I'm bored. I set myself, I was talking to my pal last night, and it was about how expensive guitars are these days. He'd bought a Gibson Les Paul and a Fender Strat, and he was actually saying he felt dirty after buying them. He's glad he did buy them, but he felt he didn't after, because they were so expensive. And he's like me, buys these sort of things, and I decided, I was like, right, see if you gave me like a voucher to buying guitar for, I think I said for $3,000. And it's like, which guitar? And you're not allowed to keep the guitar, and you're not allowed to like just buy the cheapest, because obviously you give me a $3,000 guitar voucher for guitar. I'm going to go in there and buy a Squire Bullet Mustang for 110 quid and keep 2,890 quid. That's what I would do. But it's just like, which guitar would you actually play if you had if I had to play it at a gig? But maybe not. I'd either keep it or just. And it really wasn't. The first one I actually got to, starting at like $3,000. It was like, incidentally, it was like page 10 or 11, starting from the most expensive, coming down before it got to $3,000. So I mean, there was 10 pages of guitars that cost more than $3,000, and there was some pretty fancy looking Sir guitars, which basically were just actually not that. This sort of idea where it's a sort of Telecaster, but they're like sort of carved top, like fancy tops on them. You know, these are under £5 and a slightly pointy headstock. There was PRS, which I suppose you could argue are their own design. You know, it's like, then obviously the ones at £5 have got made of the most ridiculously looking, amazing looking wood. And then you had Les Pauls that are made to look old, like 50s reissues, and then Teles that are made to look old, and Strats that are made to look old. This is down to, you know, like, then we got to £3, and it was really, there wasn't, all you got was sort of slightly less fancy looking Sirs, less fancy looking PRSs, and you're still at £3,000 for a guitar. But maybe that's because I started at the top and I was looking at ones at £5, and then you'd look at the one at £3 and it looks a wee bit plain compared to, because the other one's got it's the same guitar but it's got £2,000 worth more of piece of wood on the top. So obviously that makes a difference. But it was still pretty much just about 20 Les Pauls that, to me, my pal Aaron's right into his Les Pauls and he keeps showing me pictures of them. They all look exactly the same. It's all to do with the subtlety of how nice the top is. That's the only thing that changes. Nothing else changes. You know, it's like, oh, it's just a Les Paul. Sorry, I'm not a big Les Paul fan, as I've said a few times. And it's like, and it came down to, if you gave me £3 and I had and if you were guitar and you were giving me a guitar to play live, the first one starting at £3 coming down the way, it was a Gibson SG Special with P90s in it in Pelham Blue, and it was like 12 or 1300 quid, and that was really the nicest guitar that I really liked. From, you know, starting at £5, working my way down, it became, you know, it's like, here's £3, buy a £3 guitar. I would just have bought that one at £12. I wouldn't have bought it. It'd have been, I did quite like the Fender Broadcaster, but the Fender Broadcaster just looked exactly like that. It's just basically that, apart from it said Broadcaster on it, and it was a really nice guitar, but still just a tele. You know, so I spent a wee while looking for one of the Paisley pattern ones. At one point I'm going to get a Paisley pattern one. You know, the one that James Burton played. It's like flower power. It's got sort of wallpaper on it. I do want one of them, but and that was one of the ones I looked up in China, and China can't do it. It looks awful, the one they've done. I don't know what they did wrong. It's got silver on it or something. It just doesn't look like the original one. Ideally, I would like to find like just a Chinese, a Telecaster, and just there's that pink with the flowers on it. That'd be really cool, just for the Elvis James Burton thing. So I will be looking for one of them. I do think there's a Japanese one. Obviously you get ones from the 60s and stuff like that are £10 that are that. And then there's a Japanese one, Fender from, I don't know, the 90s or something like that. But they're still, you know, more than 500 quid anyway, I think. And it's kind of, not just for another telly. I don't need another telly. Yeah, so 34 minutes of talking pish. Hope you're all having fun. I might have a really interesting video tomorrow. I'm due to get a guitar back from getting fixed, a rather special one. But I did a video today, so I might not need to do one tomorrow. I might spend tomorrow trying to work out how to play the bastard, and then have a sort of better video about it. I think I've finally got through Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's alright. It's alright. I kind of remember. I'd seen quite a lot of it before. I used to watch it with my dinner like 20 years ago. Rock and roll, stay safe. Let's not talk about the virus. Catch you later.